we're using technology for all the wrong reasons. Never getting to a place of complacency. Continuously be thought-provoking and ask questions, because that ask simply makes you be a little bit more wiser. And when you understand who did this, who discovered this, why were they discovering this? Where? You know? And what was the purpose? And when you understand that and you live your life on the why factor, it just makes the W factor, in actual fact, it just makes your life very, very interesting.
Welcome, my brother.
Thank you.
Yeah, welcome.
Yeah, man.
Bro, we're just gonna make it quick, right? You know my name?
Kuda.
Yeah.
Kuda Mugabe.
Yeah. And this is my co-host, Mambo Kazi. Yes, yeah. So we want to welcome you. I know it's been a busy day for you.
It still is, yeah.
Yeah. And thank the Almighty you managed to come through. We really appreciate. It's not everyone who will give you their time.
Yeah.
They say time is money. We can't really equate that into your currency per hour. I think we might not be able to get there, but yeah, thank you for coming through.
Thanks.
So basically, what we want is we want to share some golden nuggets. And to us, what we mean by golden nuggets is some of the experiences, the challenges that you experienced from the time that they gave you a name. And they said, you are qualified to leave this earth and go through the journey and see what works for you and what doesn't, and select and fulfill your purpose.
Yeah, sure.
So that's what we would want you to share. Like we said in the invite, buckle up.
It's going to be a bumpy ride.
Yeah. But mainly we want to listen to you and share with our viewers, all those key things that you have seen, the hurdles that you have managed to overcome.
Sure.
And some of the things that you might want to share, especially with the youth or even parents as well, because things are changing right now, and would want us to find a purpose of, banking those smiles and
as
well. Yeah. Okay. So over to you, brother.
Thanks, Kuda. Yeah, man. My name is Thapelo. Surname is Tshikane, and yeah, sure. Where do I start? Where do I start?
You can start from when you're born,
when I was born. I don't think I would remember that, but okay.
Okay.
I think, look, I am a boy from Joburg, Northwest, I grew up in Northwest in a small village called Bethany in Brits.
Okay.
It's not far from here. So when I travel home, it's literally, after RTBS, and then I'm home.
Nice.
Matriculated there, and obviously came to Joburg.
Yeah.
And in Joburg, all I did was hustle. I started in the call center industry, and what it is now and compared to what it was back then, it's completely different. It's evolved from cold calling, hardcore, calling the reception and trying to get to speak to someone. And now things have become easy, I think, in my opinion. I've elevated myself. So I think I cut my teeth in insurance, and that's what I've kind of created a career around.
Okay.
I'm in the insurance industry.
Nice.
So I think I've come full circle from starting as a call center agent to getting to a place where you head up a call center space, managing different projects you know, different people, different teams, client servicing, sales. Currently, I head up a contact center in the corporate benefit space. Previously, before that, I headed up a contact center in the emerging market space, and I guess I continuously try and reinvent myself, and I don't want to be boxed. And I think for me, taking the role that I'm in now, one of the conversations that we were having with my then boss is, I think I'm being boxed as a sales expert, and I don't want to be a sales expert alone. So yes, 10, 15 years I've been in sales, so I understand sales quite well. I think you would know that I built a contact center, from scratch in that space, an outbound contact center, from literally one person to around 30 people and beyond, and I think the largest number of people that I've seen myself as young as I am. I mean, I'm not that old.
Okay. You just turned 21, I guess.
Yeah, well, 21 plus a couple of, and that, kind of elevated me to be who I am and what I do right now. And I like your intro. You mean putting smiles on people's faces. I think one of the things that I've done when I embarked on a leadership journey is, how do you elevate a Black child as a Black man who understands the hardships and the difficulties of coming up in an industry that is very difficult. The financial industry is not an easy industry to be, but it needs people that are bold, that have guts, and that have the zeal and the ability to overcome and navigate different obstacles. You name it. There's legislation. That is continuously evolving. I mean, you can imagine 2006 when I was in the industry to now, how many legislative changes have come into
place.
So it's a continuous evolving of the industry, and it also wants you to continuously sharpen your sword. I mean, back in 2011, I got my 2010, 2011, somewhere there, I got my RE5. And as I moved on, I realized that this is not just going to cut it. You need more. I did my wealth management back then while I was still selling. I moved into short-term insurance. In short-term insurance, I realized that coming from a wealth space, a funeral or long-term space, rather, should I say, you move into this space, and now I don't want to be boxed again. I pivoted, right? I went into short-term insurance. And while I was in short-term insurance, I realized that, okay, cool. Now I understand, and I kind of understand what it's all about. And I was privileged, most of the companies that I've worked for have really put some level of investment in me. But it's also to a point where, was I looking for that that growth, and anyone that has been around me will tell you that I was probably the first person to ask, why is this done that way? How do we change that? I think my suggestions would be this, and that puts you ahead of some people, your peers, because you are the one that is asking questions, etc., etc. So yeah, I mean, I think you'll ask a lot of questions as we move along in this conversation, but just a snippet of who I am, where I'm from.
I wanted to ask you that, Thapelo, like when you started, when we are growing up, we all have ambitions, and we want someone to be doctors, lawyers, and stuff like that. Where you are with you just take us back when you were a kid and say,
I wanted to be a soccer player, man.
Already?
I was good at soccer.
Already?
Yeah. I was very good at soccer.
Okay.
I think I wanted to be a soccer player, and then that changed, and then I wanted to be an architect. I was good at drawing and drawing structures and all those things, and that's something that I also wanted to do. And I think,
why did you stop? Did you give yourself an opportunity to play the soccer?
No. So I mean, still play soccer even now.
I guess your dream was to play professionally.
Exactly, but I still play soccer even now.
Yeah.
Sunday league with the gents.
Okay. Nice.
That is a nice refresher for me.
And exercise.
And exercise definitely. You know, but I mean, my dad said to me, soccer doesn't pay.
Okay.
You're gonna waste your time, and I had to make a decision at that time.
Yeah.
And when I completed my matric, my brother was behind me, and maybe before that, I went from I want to play soccer to looks like I'm good at drawing,
So let me
and then I changed slightly, and then someone said to me, "You actually might be good at advertising because you speak a lot, you know." I said, "Great,
it's a gift."
Right? And I then started researching what is advertising. And I realized that it's not for me, you know. But within that broader scope of what advertising is bundled with sales and marketing. So I then took a decision to say, actually, I love sales because I'm getting the ability to speak to clients and to negotiate and things like that. And that's why I think I really thrived in the call center space and within the insurance space, because I was comfortable in getting that yes. And there's nothing as exhilarating as getting someone to say yes, interested in what you're offering. And to take it a step further, to give you their personal details. That's a very, very, very intricate space to be in. Not everyone thrives in that space. So from when I was a kid, I wanted to be a soccer player, and then I again pivoted at some point, and I want to be an architect, and I was drawing, and after that I then changed again, and I think the last change is what stuck with me till today.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Wow, interesting. I guess that's where your evolving trait comes from.
100%.
When you start, but it's quite important what you mentioned, because that the decision for you to change was also influenced by parents, by your dad. And I guess maybe back then, football didn't seem like, it's like musicians as well. They didn't seem like it's a profession that will actually help you to actually fend for your family and get to the next level. So it's not really the fact that they didn't want you, but they wanted you to get something that's going to help you. They
wanted me to work.
Yeah. But you still
playing football is not working.
It's not working. But
according to my dad, that's not a career. You're not working, you are paid.
8 to 5 is working.
Yeah. People now get paid like
ridiculous amount of money. My son is 5, and they did career day just the other day, and I said to him, "What do you want to be?" And he said, "I want to be a soccer player." So, okay, cool. If that's what you want to be. Look, dude, live your dream. And I still use the same principles. He either will pivot as he progresses, and we're living in an industry, and lucky for some of us is we've got opportunities, we're learning and we're studying and we're growing. And you kind of understand that we're living in the 4th industrial revolution. And technology, what we're using right now here, nobody thought 10 years ago that this would be a medium where someone sits and engages, just ordinary people. And that ordinary conversation has an ability to change and transform someone else's life. 10 years ago, a camera was for taking pictures. And nothing else. Today, a camera reaches millions and millions of people, and it changes lives. There's a child sitting in the deep rural areas who's not able to actually come to Joburg, the big city, but experiences the big city through the eyes of the lens,
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true. And that's quite important. I guess just coming back to what you mentioned about contact centers being easy and stuff compared to when you guys were in the trenches.
Evolution.
Evolution, yeah. It's part of the technology as well,
100%.
because technology has managed to make it much more easier for people, much more easier, like you mentioned, to reach out to people.
Yeah. I mean, in a call center world, Kuda, now, people are not aware that we are able to clone your voice, my voice, clone it. And it's able to have, through artificial intelligence, it's able to have a robust, detailed conversation with a client.
True.
To a point where the client is able to opt in. It has emotions, it's able to redirect, it's able to analyze emotions. What emotional state is this particular client in? Can I calm them down, etc., etc. And that just shows you that back then it was your responsibility to sense what emotion this particular client is. Artificial intelligence is doing it for us now. We don't have to, like, literally, I sit with data and I'm able to then gauge where the level of the client was, you know, and not me having to physically listen to the call or be engaged with the call. Just taking that, putting it into a data analytical spectrum, and I get all this information to say this is why this client was frustrated and this is the steps that you need to follow. It's making it easy for you.
True.
It's making it, but it's also making it very difficult from a human interaction perspective. Why is that the case? It's because the easier it becomes to connect with a client, the more difficult it is from a human interaction and from a human, emotional connection perspective. I mean, if a robot, for lack of a better word, let's call it that, is able to have a very detailed emotional conversation, why do you need a human being? So the generation today, in the next 10 to 15 years, and I've been in the industry, call center world industry, for 17, 18 years.
It's about close to 2 decades.
Yeah, and back then when we started,
he's not 21.
And it's been really becoming very difficult for people to say, I created a career in this space, because now the decision makers can sit there and say, do we genuinely need 200 people to be selling for us? If I can take one system, plug different voices, and those different voices is literally just it adapts. I mean, AI is such
That's
an
actually
adaptive.
scary thinking about it.
It's scary.
It's kind of scary thinking about
because
it.
it studies. It studies.
It evolves. What AI is today and what it was 10 years ago, and it's not something that starts now.
Yeah, it's not new.
It's such an old system that it has been evolving over time.
True.
And yes, now it's probably catapulted into a different dimension where it's growing rapidly and too quick. But the impact it will have on society, if society does not grow with it,
it's going to be
a mess.
And you're very right that this thing started long back. So I was studying something along those lines with technology as well. And do you know, like, the auto-correct, that was already AI.
Yes, it is.
That's studying, like, what we are doing up to now, where you're saying it's getting to feelings now.
Yes.
Getting to, and it's still studying. It's information that you're giving it in.
100%.
That's why we've got like this the chat GPTs now, POEs, a lot of bots that are there, and life is now easy.
Or a chatbot is able to solve your problem without someone sitting behind it. And a lot of people assume that a chatbot is someone sitting behind a computer saying hi and then says hi back, and it's 2:00 in the morning.
Nobody's
there.
No, the people are snoring.
And you look at the pioneers, the guys that run Google, the guys that run Amazon, or, Elon Musk is just a different breed on his own.
Yeah.
I mean, he even has robots in production right now. A robot, a car that is self-driving. Where do you think the intelligence comes from? In a dusty street. I mean, the other day I was watching a podcast, and part of this podcast, they literally dropped this car in the middle of nowhere, and they expected it to really be difficult for it to navigate itself around there.
Yeah.
And I sat there and I looked at the journey that it took, and it eventually went out, and I was like, oh wow. So we used to struggle, if you remember, when Google started with Google Maps.
Yes.
And there would be
GPS.
unregistered roads.
Yeah.
And today, those unregistered roads, you're able to drive through it because as it moves through that, it learns, or someone puts a street address, and because it was an unregistered road, it takes that street address and then just carries on with it.
Wow.
So it's crazy.
Yeah.
It's that's something interesting. I like that. Also, Elon Musk is from
South Africa.
Your country.
Yeah. South Africa.
So, with everything that we are talking about, what would you say to our viewers in terms of with the AI future? Because like you're saying, it's not that humans are not going to have jobs. If you don't know AI, you might not have. You need to, at some point, it's really serious that you know about it. Like,
The 200 people that you were thinking about, I remember you're making decisions about 200 people.
Well, that was a long time ago, but nonetheless, I think it's finding yourself within the ever-growing space. The evolution of the contact center in the 80s probably didn't exist. If it existed, it was a completely different outlook on what a contact center is and should be. But as it progressed over time, it evolved. So it is what we do, and I always say to my teams that the most important thing to be aware of is you're human. And I don't think that you should be in a position where a robot really, really, really gets to a place where it actually overtakes you. It is you using the ability of a robot to advance yourself. Efficiency, right? People have mastered the art, and I'll make an example. Back in the days, people would go and say, I want to open a store, right? Technology has enabled people to do drop shipping.
E-commerce.
I don't have to have a physical store, but I can make millions by leveraging of this technological capability. So I honestly, and because we're speaking to the youth, I think it's just them being so aware of what leveraging capability is, and I know I'm using a fancy word, but in simple terms is, how do I plug myself into this? That's the word that people use. Where's the plug? Plug yourself into that thingy, you spoke about ChatGPT. Go on it, go on it. Ask it questions, but we're using technology for all the wrong reasons, Facebook, this, that, and the other. And what you take away from that is the amount of time and data that you use, going through likes and people's life, is how do I elevate and, create my lifestyle? How do I plug myself using this? I mean, Facebook has its own meta now, because they understand that if you don't move with the times, you are going to impact yourself in future. And for you not to become irrelevant as humans, the likes of, those people that run those businesses understand that Facebook, what it was when it launched was not what it was, what it is now.
today.
And it's completely evolved over
The
time.
evolution, exactly.
And that evolution tells you that as a human, you cannot sit static. You need to continuously shapeshift and try and find yourself within the ever-evolving world.
Yeah.
You know? I don't know if you guys are aware of what Senten was in the 1990s. 1991.
Oh, Senten.
Senten, Midrand, and what it is today.
Completely different.
If you can go and look at the two maps,
Wow.
you would literally be amazed.
I was actually looking the other day at the Four Ways area.
Yeah.
How it was.
Yeah.
Apparently it was a farm, yeah?
It was.
It was a farm.
It was.
And I was like, okay. Now it's
where it is today and what it was 10 years ago.
Yeah.
It's completely different.
That's powerful what you just mentioned, because I think it's people, we tend to try and look for things outside. It's just like us. Remember we were saying we're celebrating 21 years.
Yeah.
Then we realized that you had almost 20 years, 2 decades
Literally.
in contact centers. So it's the same thing. Look, tomorrow I'm gonna be a day older.
Yeah.
So it comes back to what you mentioned. Like we cannot like just sit and relax.
Yeah.
Things are evolving.
Yeah.
So it comes back to the same trait that you've got when you were saying that the people that are needed most is the people that ask why. Why?
That's true.
Why is this like this? Why is this operating like this? And from there, that's when we start to say, oh, okay, now you understand and you keep up.
Yeah. And when you listen to all these great speakers, motivational speakers, they tell you about never getting to a place of complacency.
Oh, yeah.
Continuously be thought-provoking and ask questions, because that ask simply makes you be a little bit more wiser.
Yeah. Nice.
Me sitting here and saying, why would the camera sit on a tripod instead of 2 legs? And someone explains it to say it actually gives it balance, this, that. I become more wiser to understand that for stability, you actually need a tripod. So tomorrow, when I meet someone who does not have the understanding, I'm able to say, in actual fact, the reason why in the film industry, tripods have become a thing is because it gives it much more stability than having this, that, and the other. And it's just the why factor, that why factor keeps you on your toes, keeps you in the discovery phase. Not discovery of the company, but discovery phase. You always want to know why this is happening, how this happened. And a great man a few years ago said to me, there's 5 whys and not W, right?
Yeah.
Who, what, where, all those. And when you understand who did this, who discovered this, why were they discovering this? Where? And what was the purpose? And when you understand that and you live your life on the why factor, it just makes the W factor, in actual fact, it just makes your life very, very interesting.
Nice.
And that's what I share with my kids, with my wife, and around my household. One of the things that we do is it's okay for you to ask a question, but it's also okay for you to try and take a jab at the answer. So when my daughter or my son asks, Daddy, why this? I ask the question, what do you think is the reason? And them giving a shot at it will kind of give me an indication that they understand or have some level of comprehension, and they are willing to think outside the box. So most of us in the adult world know that. So we've heard this concept of thinking outside the box, but probably people don't understand why.
Does that mean?
Because a box is a confinement. And when you are confined, it simply means 1 + 1 is 2.
Yeah.
But today's generation challenge that concept of 1 + 1 is 2.
Yeah.
And good or bad, because everything comes in twos, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
The good thing is you are challenging your mind to stretch further than the confinement. And maybe the bad thing would be certain things should be left as is. But every big name, every successful person, when you hear about them, they didn't live within a confined space. They didn't live between this is what you must do. You wake up in the morning, you do this, you come back, you sleep.
Yeah.
Because if you leave that lifestyle of A, B, C, you will never discover Z and Y.
Yes. I think that comes back to what you were saying about evolving.
Yeah.
So I've got a question for you. I just want to take you back to what you mentioned. You partly answered it already, but I'll still ask it. I think I'm allowed. My question is, there are people that don't ask themselves why. So how can we? Because you can actually see that there's someone who's not saying, like you mentioned, how can you be in the same state? You mentioned Midrand, you looked at the map, and it's not the same. So how can there are some people that are comfortable being in the same state?
Yeah.
Like the same Kuda on Tuesday, on Wednesday, I want to be the same.
Yeah.
So how
it's society, right? Society also plays a significant influence.
I like what you mentioned to say already in your kids, you're asking them, because what you're doing is you're empowering them to think.
Yeah.
And that's what we want, even when it comes to workplaces and stuff.
100%.
Yeah, but how else can we assist and help those people that don't see what you are seeing in the other space to say, look, this is going to help you ultimately. There is the value. Can you not see the value?
Where do I start? I think maybe firstly, let me start here. Everything is an individual start, right?
Yes.
The starting point is you as a person, as a human being. If you get to a place where you don't challenge the status quo, or you don't challenge what your mind is telling you, or what TV or radio or a book tells you, and you live again within the confinements of this, that, and the other, you will never get to the why factor.
Yeah.
Why should I do this?
Yeah.
And there's nothing wrong. I always tell people, even in leadership, if you as a leader are surrounded by people that don't question why you are taking that decision, it makes you a very flat leader. But when someone questions, it helps you interrogate the decision making further.
Yeah.
Because when you don't interrogate your decision and your logical thinking, you find yourself in a space where you're just making decisions for the sake of making decisions. Haphazardly.
Yeah.
I know, I say it's Tuesday, we're moving this way. But when someone says, but why are we moving that way? And that's why you need to be surrounded with, people that are vocal, or people that don't sit and, just swallow themselves and go like, but it's also created by you as a person or as a leader that, do I allow people to question my thinking? My thinking capability. Because if you are the one to push everyone and say my decision is final, you will be surrounded by people that will never ask you or even interrogate, even when they see that we are heading for a cliff. you know?
That's power, because what you're saying is you want people that add value.
Yeah.
And in adding value is people that question the why. I'm always inspired by my nieces.
Yeah.
They will ask you everything. Why? Why are you doing this? And then it's sometimes you can get to a point where it's
frustrating.
You can be irritated. However, if you look at it differently, it depends on the mindset. If you look at it differently,
depends on the time of the day.
You mentioned leadership, also in the time of the day, I guess. but it's something that's really important. Even like you mentioned in leadership, because leadership mostly we assume that people know where they're going. Yeah. Sometimes the leaders don't know, to be honest. However, they need...
Not sometimes, people. Most times.
Yeah. Most of the time, they don't know. However, they need that collaboration, which is one of my values. So, if you have people that ask you, when you're stimulated with those 5 whys that you're gonna ask, you're gonna go through all those questions, why, where, and what up, and then you'll come up with something that's not your own, because if it's your own, you become a dictator, right?
Yeah.
But you get something that's more researched because you have included 2 or 3 people. Yeah. So it's more valuable.
And that's why there's a concept that says, great leaders are made by those around them. As a leader, and I've been fortunate to be in a leadership role for many years now. Yeah. And one of the things that I've learned is understanding that I will not be the best version of myself if I don't have people that push me, drive me, inspire me. I might be a leader, but I might be inspired by someone that I lead. And you should be so comfortable to know that you're not in competition. I compete with myself, not with anyone else. So when they say Kuda is doing great and he just got a promotion, I celebrate because it means that in my space and my my social surrounding, I'm surrounded by people that will elevate and will grow me. But if you find yourself in a space where every success of the next person is a threat to you, you are in for a recipe for disaster because you will be surrounded by people that are below you. And you're continuously changing because immediately when someone gets a slight elevation, you go like, no, I must change this person. I don't want to be around this person. Celebrate people, be excited, and keep it moving. And once you keep it moving, along the journey, your success will come. Your moment of glory will come. I'm a Christian. And I believe in Christian principles and values. And I hold them dear to me. That we should not be envious of each other. We should be very supportive of each other. And this is one of the biggest things that I advocate for. Celebrate your peers. No matter how small the victory is. Celebrate it. And again, I'll go back to my kids. So they're still young. My daughter is an avid, competitive person. And when maybe my son comes back with a trophy or with a certificate, you see her emotions. But I then teach her, say, babe, today we celebrate your brother. Tomorrow, you go out into the world and you get yours. Why is that the case? It's if you don't teach her at that age that celebrating the next person does not make you inferior to them. It does not make you feel that you are less than them. Your time will come. Stand fast and wait for your opportunity. And as long as you prepare yourself and you are ready for that opportunity. Because, one mentor once said to me, opportunities don't come knocking by your door and say, knock, I'm here for you.
Yeah.
No, they must find you on the street.
Yeah.
Because if it's gonna come, well, hey man, we call those blessings.
Yeah. You must, they say you must invite yourself to the temple of success.
You should.
Don't wait for an invitation. Eh? It's not like us inviting people.
So I wanted to know, in your leadership roles,
Yes, ma'am.
have you ever had a time where you made a bad decision and how it impacted your team?
Always.
And how did you
I make bad
rectify-
decisions always because I learn from them.
Yeah.
But maybe jokes aside, we make decisions. And when you make a decision, you don't anticipate that it's a great decision. At that moment, the situation that you are faced with requires you to make a decision. And as a leader, and I get so upset with, leaders in society, anyway, in the world, that don't make decisions. A decision is something that needs to be done, especially when you are given a leadership role.
Yeah.
You cannot sit there and hope something happens. Hope is not a strategy. And that's why there's leaders. Leaders are steerers, right? I sit there and I say to myself, this is the situation that I'm faced with right now. And based on this situation, I think the best way forward is this. That means I'm making a right of course.
Okay.
That means we are navigating this direction.
Yes.
Right? The post decision is what we say. Now you are evaluating your decision and your thought process.
Okay.
And what influenced it. And remember my earlier statement that be susceptible to being able to turn.
Yes.
If you are rigid, your decision is steadfast, it's not open for engagement, then you know that decision that you've made will throw you into the pits. And you will end up in the pits.
True.
But when you are quick to, and remember, let's use the Titanic. Someone somewhere could have said to the captain, you know what? I think there's an iceberg ahead.
That's something I heard,
And if the captain was steadfast in his decision, no, we move in this direction, the many lives that were lost on the Titanic become his, because he did not allow those around him to say, Cap, there's an iceberg ahead. And Cap is able to say, okay, now we come back into the modern world. Let's use data analytics, information, and industry aspects, industry norms, everything. There's so much that you could literally pay, because
different sources you can
there's
get
so many
from.
for you to say, okay, I understand that this is what I'm faced with. Maybe let's stop for a second, let's rethink it. And okay, I understand that we were going this direction, guys. I think we need to pivot and move this direction, because here I think we're gonna have a problem. So from my view is just that. If I've made bad decisions, and I make them probably every single day, it's okay. Do I learn from them? Yes. I get very worried with the person that does the same mistakes over and over again, or same bad decisions over and over again, because that means you're not learning from your outputs.
And I think that's quite important, because mostly, especially with the social media, like you're mentioning and stuff, some people think visibility it means perfection.
No, it's not.
Because that's why they filters and stuff. People think that hey, you're some kind of thing, but
talk about filters.
But it doesn't mean that. We are humans. We are human beings, and we have to get to a point where we accept that we've got limitations. However, like I was saying, the Kuda on Tuesday, it shouldn't be the same as Kuda on Wednesday, right? If you want, if you ask the questions, the whys, right? Because the why, you mentioned something important, you have to take action. like those guys
Yeah.
that you're mentioning,
Yeah.
that if, the captain had listened, he would have taken action after looking at all the sources and saying, hey, this is valuable and it's going to help us collaborate and steer ourselves to the right direction.
And I mean, by no means am I an expert in leadership. I'm still learning. I think I'm at an infancy stage of my leadership. There's so much that you can learn from people around you, from juggernauts of the industry, and people that when you listen to, and it's just you being susceptible and in a position to say, I want to learn, and then that's what leadership is. Learning, being able to say, Kuda's doing something great. I mean, here we are right now, he's 10 steps ahead of me. What do I learn to get to that level? And yes, I might get to that level. Might be today, it might be tomorrow, it might be next year, it might be 10 years from now, but I must be able to learn continuously. In my organization, we call it having a growth mindset.
That's far. Growth mindset.
A growth mindset. And a growth mindset is a mindset that's not sitting there and saying, they must upskill me. Why am I not being taken to school? The growth mindset is the opportunity will find me on the way. There's people that pay for their own education, as little as there is. There's people that will tell you, I take one module a year because my situation doesn't allow me to take 3 or 4. I'm a parent, I'm a father, I'm a mother, I'm, a worker, I'm doing this, I'm a public figure in society. But just that one module, for me, it's a big achievement at the end of the year when I get my results and I register for the second module and for the third module. And eventually, 10 years later, the person gets their degree. And to someone, will go like, really? It took you 10 years? Forgetting that this person was very resilient.
True.
And was so focused in their goal. And they didn't care about what society is saying around them. All they care about is, my goal is in 10 years, 20 years, and 5 years, and 2 years, it doesn't matter. I am going to get there eventually. And that's the growth mindset that we need to embody and carry. True. I will eventually get to a space where I have my degree, I have my, my house, my car. And just a couple of days ago, it was Men International, Men's Day International. And I had the privilege of actually speaking at one of the men's forums. And, one of the questions I was asked is, how do men, navigate the pressures of, society, and how do we deal with mental health as men?
Okay.
And for me, it's very, very simple, right? And I'm saying simple as if it is. It's not really simple, but anyway, it takes a lot of practice and a lot of work.
Okay.
When you are in a situation, how you view that situation, is that half glass full or half glass empty?
Okay.
And when you, at no point should you expect that situations will not happen. That's a fallacy. But when you are confident and comfortable in the knowledge and the knowing that I should not lose myself in whatever situation I'm faced with. It's a phase, it's a situation. It is not a personification of who I am.
Okay.
So that's how I normally tackle life, to say, okay, here I've got this challenge, I'm struggling with this, that. How do I navigate it? Find mentors, find counsel. Where you seek your counsel is important. And counsel does not necessarily mean only getting, help from a trained profession. There's confidence, people that that you can rely on. There's people that have gone through life and situations and they've come out strong. They are able to give advice and feedback. And it's just you being in a position that says to yourself, if I'm going through this, I will not let this become me, but I will overcome through adversity and through these challenges. And like I said, when you're Christian or whatever religious belief that you anchor to, you go to the divine. And there you seek solace and comfort. Not that the situation must move away from you, but for the strength to persevere and move forward through that storm that you're faced with.
I like what you mentioned about the growth mindset, and thank you for explaining that, because a lot of people don't really understand, like, what does that mean? Growth mindset. My mind is growing, or what? What's this set? So this mind, I don't understand. But the key thing is, it comes back to one of your traits of constantly evolving. And when you're faced with a situation, not only looking at the negative side of things, but also looking at the positive side. And saying, look, this situation happened, it's fine. You can laugh at me 10 years, but I'm done. I've got my degree. And it's a good thing we've got institutions like, these buses like UNISA that help us to distant learning. And the other brilliant thing about technology, this 4IR that you were talking about, you can study for free. Google is doing that. It's giving you platforms for free. At home, you can be an expert. You spoke about speaking there. You can study public speaking, literally. On the platforms.
There's so many platforms. Udemy, Allison,
So which means if you've got a growth mindset, you won't have excuses now.
No, you can't have excuse. A growth mindset is someone that doesn't sit there and says, the concept of the door, the opportunity must come to your door. No. They will sit there and say, you know what? I'm currently unemployed, but I'm going to do this. And I get inspired when I hear people say, look, because, I'm not really getting any work right now, I've decided to go back to school, and the following year they go back to school. And, and you find that person has 3 master's degrees. And someone goes like, but why you keep studying? Because you're not getting any work. You're not understanding. That person's growth mindset is, I'm not going to sit
and just wait.
I'm going to prepare myself for the opportunity. There's this thing that I read that speaks about Usain Bolt and how he trained so many minutes for him to, for so many years for him to run just, those seconds. And that is so profound. Like, if you understand soccer players,
going back to what you wanted to
do. You start in your, as little as you are, 2 years, 3 years, kicking the ball. But the refinery process, over time, you see a guy at 2 years who knew nothing about what he's doing, to a guy who makes professional at the age of 16. Yamal, who plays for Barcelona. He didn't start now.
True.
There's pictures, and I can literally name all these young boys that were in academies who used to come out of the tunnel with the players. The Phil Fodens, all these great guys that we look at today and go like, wow, this guy is one of the best, the most expensive player. Jude Bellingham, I saw a picture of him. It was him, Jamal Musiala, and I think it was Phil Foden, Saka. And they were small boys. And today, we call them one of the greatest players, the most expensive players.
True.
And it didn't start today.
True.
They didn't just pop out of nowhere. And that's the beauty of, maybe back then we couldn't, but now we can trace where Musiala was, where Lamine Yamal was, where Phil. When you see him with a price tag of £200 million, you remember that boy that used to come out of the tunnel with David Beckham and Zinedine Zidane and this one and that one, and you link it back to say he was steadfast. He never gave up.
True.
But for him to be worth that amount of money means that he had to sharpen and resharpen his,
sword. I remember you mentioned we need to sharpen our sword
continuously.
And that's part of like the evolving process as well.
Continuously.
I just want to ask, you mentioned mentorship, ne?
Yeah.
How did you go about finding a mentor? Like if someone needs a mentor, how do they go about finding? How did you
mentorship and getting a mentor is in different ways.
Okay.
Mentorship does not necessarily mean a physical person sitting in front of you. Mentorship is you using the technology.
Okay.
You guys are doing podcasting right now. You link yourself with the greatest podcasters, not through you trying to say hi. If you do, great. Hey, I'm in podcasting. I really like what you're doing and I want to sharpen my sword. And if they've got the time, they'll say, great, look, pop in whenever. But you've got the wealth of knowledge, I mean, the wealth of information through that person's craft. Go and study their craft. Someone will say, I love public speaking. And you ask them, do you have a mentor? Like, no, I'm still trying to get a mentor. But how many information that Vusi Tembekwayo has? If you struggle with pronunciation, you then go and see how do I improve my vocabulary, my pronunciation.
True.
Same. Again, I'll use sports. People that say I'm the best soccer player, listen to them. They didn't have a chance to sit with Lionel Messi or with David Beckham or with Cristiano Ronaldo. They didn't have, but they went and studied the greats to it through the archives that we have. That's what I'm saying. Back then, for you to say, I aspire to be, you would have to go to a stadium probably every single day.
And watch.
Now, it's free. It's there. Well, not free, but it's there on TV. Able to access YouTube.
You still have to pay for data.
So it's that whole think out of the box. A mentor doesn't have Kula sitting in front of...
Exactly. A mentor doesn't mean Kura sitting here. A mentor says, I love Kura's craft. You know what? I aspire to be Kura. Right? Not I want to be Kuda, I aspire to be Kuda. I love the way he holds himself in public. And you start mirroring that personification, who Kuda is, by his body of work, when he's speaking at a public forum, when he's engaging and with other people. Because people put things on social media, either for you to follow and like and, and be a gossiper or really be inspired and consume that knowledge and that understanding and whatever that particular person is doing.
And I think that's quite important also when it comes to technology, because like I got an opportunity of understanding what it means to have like a coach and to have a mentor as well in different aspects. And like you were saying that. Look, I might say that, like from soccer, I want to be able to take free kicks. And then I'm going to study Beckham, because he was a very good free kick taker, right? Then I'm going to say I want to study defending. And then I'm going to watch Kolo Kante. I'm going to watch Kolo Kante and see like how, he was performing. And then learn. So you take traits from there. So it comes back to that mindset thing. That unfortunately, I guess maybe because of maybe a certain influence, some people just think that I'm going to look for a guy, Dylan. And this is the guy that knows film and is in the filming industry, and that's the guy that I'm going to work with. No, I can get something from a guy called Proud. And then this guy can collaborate. Maybe this guy knows about lenses. And then this guy knows about the tripod stands, like you mentioned. Then I'll get my information for them. But the important thing is, I as a person need to say, this is what I want. Because like you were saying, you can never be Kuda.
No.
You can never.
Yeah,
But you can mold
aspire to
yourself
be, yeah.
and get some traits from there. And see, oh, okay, I'm gonna get something from Mambokazi, I'm gonna get something from Priscilla,
Yeah.
and then say, okay, yeah, from Thapelo, then I become a version of myself.
Sure.
I guess that's why you guys in leadership say, don't just be a follower,
Yeah,
be a
no.
student.
Be a student. and even in leadership, you become a student.
Yeah,
And that's why I say always have a well that you can tap into.
yeah,
If you have a physical mentor, that's great.
yeah.
And I advocate for us as ordinary citizens to become mentors to those that need a voice of, reason, someone that you can bounce an idea off. It's important that you have that.
Okay.
If you don't get it, use the resources that you have.
Yeah.
There's so much opportunity out there, but that opportunity requires you
Yeah.
to also go in and try and find the resources and the information and whatever that is.
Take the initiative.
Okay.
It's the habits now. Be proactive, habit 1, and sharpen the sword, habit 2.
Take initiative.
Mambokazi.
I need a mentor. I need a mentor. I'm taking initiative.
So Thapelo, apparently your mentee has got a very important question here for you. We always ask people this question.
Okay.
And she's going to get the opportunity to ask you this question.
Okay.
The question is, what makes you smile?
What makes me smile?
Yes.
My kids. I think my family, my wife. I've got a very positive wife, kids.
Brilliant.
I've got a solid foundation in my family, but not only my immediate family.
Nice.
My whole family as a whole. So knowing that I've got people that support what I do and who I am, and when I'm at my lowest, they are able to pick me up.
Beautiful.
But not only that, what also makes me smile is giving people opportunities, being able to be in a position where you are making a difference in someone else's life.
Brilliant.
There's nothing as humbling as knowing that, you took someone that said, I'm unemployed, I'm really struggling, to seeing them say, hi sir, I just bought a car, bought a house.
Nice.
And you see them say it with so much pride.
Yeah.
And that just fills my heart to say, the one person that you made a difference in is enough for the day. Tomorrow, we try again.
Wow. Changing lives.
Changing lives.
Number 1.
Yeah.
No,
Thank
beautiful.
you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, bro. So from here, I know you still, climbing the ladder, you still got the opportunity of enjoying the birth certificate that they gave you.
Yeah. Well, I don't even know where the birth certificate is.
But you got it, bro. So with this, where do you see yourself like in the next 10, 15 years? Where
do I see myself? Where God wants me to be. I will continue sharpening my sword for whatever that comes, whatever opportunity that comes. Take it with both hands and run with it. I don't think as much as I plan, but God decides, so 10 years, that's a long time.
Yeah.
But one thing I know is
you won't be 21.
I won't be 21.
10 years, I will have dreadlocks.
But having a good relationship with my kids, with my wife, and just continue living the life that God has given me the opportunity to live.
Nice.
Inspiring others, and creating opportunities for others as opportunities are being created for me.
Yeah.
That's what I see myself.
No, that's cool, man. That's power. Number cards, do you have any
No,
questions?
I just want to know the times and for my mental.
Oh, your mental issues.
Oh, I don't agree about that.
That's cool. No, but yeah, thank you, Thapelo,
Thank you.
for gracing us. We're really grateful for the time that you've given us.
Thanks for the invitation.
We really cherish and the other thing that makes you smile, we've got a present for them via you. Yes. So please make sure that you get it to them.
Okay.
But we will, just show our appreciation based on what you've done for us, giving us your time. It's not everyone who will give you your time. It's very valuable. Time is money, like I mentioned earlier on, and there are other things that you could do. A person like him evolves every time, so he's probably asking why. Why is he keeping me for this time? Why?
It's 5+2.
Why? You get it. So yeah, but thank you very much. We are forever grateful.
Thank you.
And please
Thank
keep
you.
on having the same traits that you've got. Keep on, influencing and your gift of changing lives.
Okay.
That's actually quite powerful. And keep on learning. AI is coming for you. Yeah, so
AI is
with
coming
the
for you.
token of appreciation, please make sure you pass it on to the people that makes
We're
you
going to
smile.
call and ask, did you get the biscuits? Did
This
you
is a
get
lot.
the popcorn?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, so but we really appreciate and we are forever grateful.
No, I appreciate. Thanks for having me, guys.
Wonderful.
I appreciate the opportunity to sit here and share my little pearls of wisdom, if any.